Do you ever wonder where you stand on your path to early retirement? Maybe you're getting close. Maybe you're partly there. Or perhaps you've even overshot your goal. Or worse yet, maybe you have no idea. That's why today I'm going to walk you through the 5 stages that mark your progress toward early retirement. Understanding exactly where you are on your wealth building journey is crucial. I've seen countless people who don't realize the freedom their money already provides, so they keep grinding away unnecessarily. Having a clear picture of where you stand can help you make important life decisions, like when to quit your job or transition to a less demanding career before fully retiring. The first stage on your path to early retirement is Coast Financial Independence, or COAST-FI for short. At this stage, you've built up enough investments that compound growth alone will get you to your retirement goal by your target retirement age, all without adding another penny. You don't need to save anymore. You just need to cover your actual expenses. You've reached a critical mass in your portfolio that will grow to support your retirement. Depending on its size, you might even be able to retire early without saving another penny. COAST-FI is our first milestone because it unlocks many lifestyle options that early retirees enjoy. While you may not be ready to fully retire, you can access many of the key benefits through strategic lifestyle changes. The real magic comes from freeing up a significant portion of your monthly income. Since you no longer need to save 20 or even 70% of your income, you can redirect those funds towards spending more on things you enjoy, or better yet, reduce your income. You're no longer tied to a stressful job just for the high income. You can find better work-life balance while your investments quietly grow in the background. Over the past 5 years, COAST-FI has become one of the most popular concepts in the financial independence community, thanks to the freedom it provides. So have you reached COAST-FI? There's no simple rule of thumb. It requires a future value calculation to determine your COAST-FI number. COAST-FI is the amount you need saved today to reach financial independence without contributing another dollar. This calculation is personal and varies based on your planned retirement age, assumed investment returns, and expected retirement expenses. I don't want to make this overly complex. The easiest way to check if you've reached COAST-FI is to download our free COAST-FI calculator from our website. It's simple, and thousands have already used it to calculate their COAST-FI number. We've included a link in the description below. Download it today to do your own assessment. But COAST-FI is just the first of many stages on your path to early retirement. If you've been coasting for some time, or perhaps you didn't know about COAST-FI and continued to grind it out, you may already be at the next stage. The next stage is semi-retirement. This is when you've saved enough to start withdrawing a small percentage of your portfolio to supplement your active income. At this stage, while your portfolio can't fully support your lifestyle, you can significantly reduce your work hours thanks to the supplemental portfolio income. For example, let's say Melissa spends $60,000 per year, or about $5,000 per month, and plans to maintain this spending level in retirement. Using the standard 4% safe withdrawal rate, she would need about $1.5 million in her portfolio to sustain her lifestyle indefinitely. However, she doesn't need to wait until reaching full financial independence to cut back. With a $1 million portfolio, she could safely withdraw $40,000 per year without depleting her savings. Since Melissa wants to reach full financial independence eventually and doesn't want to significantly slow her portfolio's growth, she chooses to withdraw just $20,000 per year to support her lifestyle. This means she only needs to earn $40,000 in active income. Previously, Melissa was earning $90,000 from her job and saving 1/3 of her gross income. By taking a semi-retired approach, stage and withdrawing just 2% of her portfolio, she could reduce her income by 55%. This allows her to work 2 to 3 days per week or even switch to seasonal contract work for several months each year. By withdrawing only 2% of her portfolio, her investments will continue to grow over the long term, eventually reaching full financial independence. Here's the thing about semi-retirement. It's one of the more loosely defined stages. There's no definitive number behind it. It falls somewhere between Coast-Fi and full financial independence. I suggest starting by calculating how much annual income 1 to 2% of your portfolio would provide. With a $1 million portfolio, like in our example, you generate $10,000 to $20,000 per year at a 1 to 2% withdrawal rate. With half that amount, $500,000, you generate $5,000 to $10,000 per year. Next, consider how this extra income might change your life. If you could supplement your active income with portfolio income, what possibilities would open up? Could you switch to part-time work seasonally, start that business you've always dreamed of? Most people reach semi-retirement after saving a large percentage of their income. When you combine portfolio income with reduced active income, semi-retirement often enables dramatic lifestyle changes, as we saw in Melissa's example. The question becomes, do you want to keep grinding or leverage the freedom you've already built to make a change now? There's no right answer. It's entirely personal. But in my experience, people who learn to leverage their wealth to build a life they want now tend to be happier and more fulfilled. So let's remember, financial freedom is a spectrum. As you continue to gain more wealth, you gain more and more freedom. The next stage on this spectrum is lean fire or lean fi. There are two common approaches to defining this stage. The first approach defines it based on covering only essential expenses. So calculate your basic costs like housing, food, and transportation. Add up these mandatory annual expenses and divide by your safe withdrawal rate. This gives you your lean fi number. You've reached this milestone when your portfolio meets or exceeds this amount. For example, if your basic expenses total $30,000 per year and you use a 4% safe withdrawal rate, you'd need a $750,000 portfolio to reach lean fi. Reaching this stage is a major achievement. Like the previous milestones, you've gained significant financial freedom. You can rest easy knowing your essential expenses are covered. Even if you never earn another dollar, you can sustain your basic needs indefinitely. And if you want to add luxuries into your life, you can do this by taking a semi-retired approach like I talked about at the last stage. The second approach defines lean fi using specific spending ranges. Most commonly, this means annual expenses between $0 and $50,000. While some use slightly higher or lower ranges, this is the general consensus. Using a 4% safe withdrawal rate, this translates to a portfolio of up to around $1.25 million. I personally view lean fi as covering essential expenses without extra room for hobbies or luxuries. But debating precise definitions isn't particularly helpful. What matters most is understanding the freedom this milestone provides. At this point, you could quit your job and cover your basic expenses without any active income. Like other financial milestones, lean fi gives you options. You could continue saving aggressively toward full financial independence or choose to slow down. Interestingly, many early retirees I know end up pursuing new projects or productive work, whether that's DIY home projects or starting a hobby business. If you reach lean fi early in life, you'll likely find ways to earn more money. While earning may not be your primary focus, it often happens naturally as you pursue your interests. The next stage is full financial independence. At this point, you've moved beyond lean status. You can support all your annual expenses indefinitely. This means you can maintain a comfortable lifestyle without any active income. Work becomes truly optional. While financial independence is often seen as the ultimate milestone in the FI community, it's not really the end goal. It's simply a financial checkpoint. The real goal of financial independence is the lifestyle it enables. I've learned that money is just a tool, one that helps you create a life you truly enjoy. If you've reached financial independence but aren't sure what you want your life to look like, I recommend focusing your energy on figuring that out. This is exactly what I help clients do in my signature group coaching program. We identified the core elements of their ideal day, week, month, year, and ultimately the elements of their ideal life. Then, through an experimental approach, we build these elements into their lives. Over 4 months, my program helps clients create a vision and action plan to design a life they truly love. If you want to learn more about my program, you can join the waitlist for my coaching program, and I'll include a link in the description below. And because money nerds have a tendency to overdo it, there's one more stage for early retirement. The final stage is Fat Fire or Fat Fi. This is when your investment portfolio generates enough income to support a luxurious lifestyle, allowing you to travel extensively, live in an expensive area, and enjoy premium experiences without financial concerns. Lean Fi and Fat Fi represent opposite ends of the spectrum. While Lean Fi covers just the essentials, Fat Fi enables virtually any luxury you desire. Fat Fi is often defined by specific annual spending thresholds, typically $100,000 or more. Using the 4% rule, this means reaching Fat Fi usually requires a portfolio of at least $2.5 million. The path to financial independence is deeply personal. You'll need to determine what you want and work toward that specific goal. If a luxurious lifestyle aligns with your goals, congratulations on reaching this stage. However, be wary of postponing your dreams just to build a bigger safety net. The term "one more year syndrome" exists because it's remarkably easy to fall into the trap of always wanting a little bit more money to feel secure. Boston College did a research study of 165 super rich people, most with a net worth of over 25 million. Their findings were eye-opening. Even these ultra-wealthy individuals still do not consider themselves financially secure. For that, they say, they would require an average of 1/4 more wealth than they currently possess. While Fat Fi sits at the peak of the 5 stages of early retirement, make sure it's something you truly need or want before pursuing it wholeheartedly. But perhaps I'm looking at this wrong. Let me know in the comments below if you think people should aim for Fat Fi. If you're making progress on your financial freedom journey but struggling to make lifestyle changes, check out this video on experimentation. It might be just what you need to shift your approach. And as always, thanks for watching and enjoy the journey.